Hey yo, what is going on, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back as per usual to more CSGO news. As always, all of today's stories will be timestamped down below. The first one is not a surprise, but definitely a flashback to the past. When I first got into CSGO news was around the time of one of, I would say, a couple of Virtus Pro eras, but certainly towards, I would say, the latter end of that. If you guys do not remember the Golden 5, the Virtus Pro era, the Virtus Plow, I'm sure a lot of you guys do. Now, stretching back to that, though, brought to us by a translated clip from Byali's last stream, where he does go on to talk about the TaZ Mercedes. For all of you guys who don't remember this, it was actually stretching back to DreamHack. I think it was actually a DreamHack event here in Las Vegas, 2017, over 2 years ago, where the CEO at the time, and I still think current VP CEO as well, he offered TaZ a car, a brand new Mercedes, a very expensive vehicle, if we do remember correctly. If they won the event, they go on to win the event, and TaZ gets his vehicle. Now brought to us by Byali, pretty much translated in that clip, or so we do believe so, is the fact that that car led to at least part of the Virtus Pro slump. And instantly, when you think about that, you go, and many people at the time as well thought about this. I think Richard Lewis and Thorne were one of the first to actually say, that's probably not a good idea. And it simply makes sense, right? Like, you legit think about this. Now, at the time, I think there was a lot of other issues that were going on with this roster, especially with their imminent downfall. Certainly not a car was the core cause of their downfall, but certainly played at least a little bit of a part to the mental game, maybe the chemistry or cohesion with this lineup as your man. Your IGL, your team leader gets a car, and what do you get for winning the event? You get nothing on top of, I guess you all get prize pool, but your CEO gives that man a 60, 80, whatever it might be, $1,000 car, and all of a sudden you're wondering, what do I get? Of course that's going to play an issue. You look to just a work aspect. If my guys out there got a giant bonus and I'm sitting here like, I gotta realize and sit around that every day. It plays into your mental game, and simply from an outside perspective does make sense. It's always curious now, years later, we have players going back, and that's why I love this scene. That's why I love esports in general, and hope I can remain here for several years, because I love these kind of look back periods across all these esports where pro players, once they're out of that circumstance, they can finally talk about that stuff. Of course, he's not going to talk about that while he's on the team itself, because then we're talking about the turmoil, the eventual downfall of Virtus Pro, which did happen anyway, and now we take a I guess you could say a backseat view, a blast to the past of Virtus Pro and what could have caused at least part of their slump, and that being the fact that TaZ got additional payments and he got gifts that the other members, they just didn't get. So lesson to esports CEOs out there, don't pay players bonuses and then just look over your shoulder and not give anyone else anything either. It probably won't work out. Seem pretty predictable. And does anyone else just get worried about Virtus Pro in general? Okay, we'll keep this short as well. I know it's lingering on the back of a lot of your heads as well, and I don't want to make a video about this, but Virtus Pro, they dig deep for those 5-year contracts, which obviously by now we all know did not work out. That roster has been on a huge fall off ever since the golden era of Virtus Pro. Ever since then as well, the roster, after them, the several rosters they had did absolutely nothing besides a few maybe decent results at a few lesser lands out there, have done absolutely nothing. They then reimburse themselves out of nowhere and come back with a major contending roster of a Vanguard. But, of course, we've seen this happen before, a gigantic signing of either large contracts or just a large signing to a new team, and nothing happens results-wise. So we will see if Virtus Pro picking up a Vanguard was a worthy cause, and if not, what are they going to do in CSGO? Because they doubled down on the old golden era of the 5-year contracts. At the time, the biggest contracts in CSGO, those busted. Now they double down to come back for a major contending top 5 to some, obviously a top 10 team and a Vanguard as well. They really probably paid a pretty penny for them. If this does not work out, where does Virtus Pro CSGO go in the future? I don't know. Anyway, next story off that, guys. Again, a great article linked down below by Decay. I actually was going to talk about this a couple days ago, but we're still in the early stages of what's coming next year for these leagues, right? We have Blast Pro, they're going to have theirs, ESL Pro Tour. Now apparently one's going to be called BnTeT, which is apparently, according to Decay, again, his article, give it some love, guys, will be linked down below, headed by both Cloud9, who ironically enough do not have a current CSGO roster. I'm sure you guys are well aware of that, alongside Immortals Gaming Club, who own MIBR. Those are the two North American or American organizations, I should be saying, that are actually heading this BnTeT league, which will, by the way, override ESL Pro League, which means these leagues, as Valve did state, cannot really be exclusive. So teams should be able to actually freely choose between leagues and play in multiple of them. But as we expected, this one, according to the sources out there right now, this BnTeT league will override dates with ESL Pro League and their Pro Tour, which means, yes, it's not exclusive, but pretty much if you're a team participating in one, you can't participate in the other. And already when I read this, it worries me the divide that's going to happen between these leagues, especially if there are 2, 3, 4 plus leagues out there, which you're going to see only a few teams that you actually enjoy in each of them. And so I hope it does not cause a huge rift between teams, viewership, player base, whatever it might be when it comes to this. It is worrisome. Very lastly as well, he did actually mention, that being BnTeT, that Astralis would likely be declining ESL Pro Tour and ESL Pro League to actually be joining the BnTeT League alongside Cloud9 and Immortals. That's all we know so far, or MIBR as well. Glaive has now responded about that. Currently, Astralis has not made their choice, although TaZ's does hint that Astralis is leaning towards BnTeT over ESL Pro League. Very lastly as well, apparently when it comes time for revenue share of this league back to the organization and players, it seems that BnTeT might be better than ESL Pro League. That's obviously how they're trying to convince these players and teams to sign with them over other leagues. I'm worried about this. Just a face thought out there. We're going to see what 2020 CSGO has in store. And very lastly, for all of you guys, 2 roster changes which are kind of expected in their own nature. First of all, our Chinese source, Flora, has linked that it's maybe, okay, keep this in mind. People love to just bash these people who actually reveal some potential hints out there and moves. She did not confirm this. She said it was a bunch of maybes, cannot be confirmed. That being BnTeT potentially staying with Tai Lu and not going to GenG. TaZ's has now responded, of course, to some of those rumors as well. He says it's a done deal. BnTeT will be going to GenG, announced hopefully not too long from now, which is super exciting to see. That roster is... Who would have ever thought BnTeT on a GenG mixed team after they take away Cloud9? I mean, I love this scene so much. I'm going to be baffled to see what they can actually pull off with BnTeT on that roster, as it should be happening sometime soon. Speaking of where he was actually, those trios are formerly coming from, that's going to be Cloud9. You just feel ultimately very bad for this man himself. That's going to be Mixwell, guys. He is no longer a part of the Cloud9 roster, as we do shortly expect Cloud9 to announce ATK as their new full 5-man roster. That means Mixwell is out the door seeking new opportunities. If I'm speaking from the heart here, guys, I truly do feel bad for him. He's tried out the French scene, didn't work out well. He's tried out NA twice now as well. I truly do, at least from my own instinct, I think he's going back to the Spanish scene, whether it's Movistar, whether it's Giants, whether it's Red Canids or some other mixed team out there. I don't think we'll be seeing Mixwell in NA anytime soon, as he just was blatantly failed by the Cloud9 organization. I don't mean that rude in any way out there. I really do feel bad for the circumstance he was left under, and yes, he will be leaving Cloud9, I think, back to the Spanish scene. Until next time, I hope you guys all enjoy. Hopefully, I'll be seeing you guys again before I actually leave for my holiday break. I have several videos planned for you guys over that break, and I really do hope you guys enjoy it, okay? Until next time, take care, drink your coffee, orange juice, water, or drink whatever you want as long as it's legal. Okay, all right, well, goodbye.